Hi, I'm Dan, and this is my wife Kimmy, and we have a ranch here in Fossil, Oregon, and so we've been using eShepherd for a couple years now. So we're running cows on about 8,000 acres. You can see the picture there. That's kind of the terrain that we have. Not real rugged mountains, but mountainous. We have a lot of elk and deer and stuff like that, and so our cross fencing and stuff just is always getting knocked down by a herd elk that comes through or whatnot. And so the collars were a real attractive option for us to be able to know where our cows are and control where we want to keep them. Let's see, go ahead and go to the next slide. This is kind of a little overview. It's changed quite a bit since then. All those blue points are our water sources. And so I can build a paddock around any one of those at any given time and move them around. So that's just kind of like an overview of, that's a pretty simple form of what we're doing right now. You can go to the next slide. This, like I said, this program is really easy to work. The iPhone app is getting better every day and stuff like that. So fitting the collars we found was pretty simple. It is a little time consuming, but once they're on, you do have to monitor them as the cows are growing or the calves are growing. We put them on our calves when they if we're keeping heifers, we'll put them on when they're 400 450 pounds or so, and it seems to work really well. They're not quite as smart as adult cows though, so it does take a little bit of time for the new heifers or something to really get compliant with them, I found. But training the cows, it's very simple. They say to do it for like a week or so, but our experiences, as soon as I can see that they're all interacting with it, and you can see that on the app or on the computer program, you can see that they've received the audio or the the shock or something, and then they turn back away from it. We've noticed that so it maybe 3-4 days. A lot of times we'll turn them out. It works really good on bulls. For some reason, the bulls are the biggest babies with it. Now we run Black Angus, so I don't know about other breeds of bulls or something, but I mean, to the point where we even had 2 different groups of cows in our hayfield, just separated with virtual fence, and the 2 bulls would come up to the edge of that fence and want to get at each other and scratch and paw and everything, and they never did violate the fence. It was pretty impressive. Gallagher's very helpful anytime you have any questions or something like that. I found that was very nice if you have a problem to work through or something. They've taken care of every issue I've had, even from collars that don't work or whatever. They send them right out, new collars, and we replace them and stuff like that. So you could go to the next slide. We did get ours with a grant, our first GRAP batch of them. The nice feature I can see is the fact that you can exclude areas within a pasture that you're running them on. Like I have in this picture, a hay barn. I don't have a fence around that, and I can keep the cows away from it, and so I can graze them right up to the edge of it, and they won't get in there and tear up my hay, which is nice. The other nice thing is I can build $200,000-$300,000 worth of fences in 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes take them right down if I have to. So that's been a really good thing. And I got this grant based on trying to improve the range grass by forcing them to eat down some areas that have some invasive grasses and stuff, and reintroduce some better grasses in those. And it is working. Otherwise they would just skip over that and just go to the good grass. And so I've been able to actually force them to mob down an area or something like that. So that was good. You can go to the next slide. This is just a picture of a track of a cow that just sat there and tested that fence all the way along. She never got shocked, but she just and I watched the cows. They'll do that. They're not bothered by the audio signal at all. They'll test it and just keep going along. It's not that she's really trying to get out. She's just walking that fence line, And so I am amazed about that as well. And the other side, they don't seem to really care and remember that, hey, that area had a fence. As soon as I open it up and I do it, I'll look, and within 10 minutes, one will be through it, and then the rest will go through. So it doesn't seem to be like something that they learn, hey, I'll stay away from that area because I'll get shocked. That doesn't seem to be an issue at all. So you can go to the next slide. So we run like 60% registered Angus. And so the nice thing is I was able to watch them so that I can know when they're calving. So I can look with the computer and I can see that a cow goes off on her own and drive right to her. And sure enough, there's a calf laying. I mean, I'm probably 90%. I can look on the computer and say, this cow is out there calving right now. So, and then it has so many different features that I can control that I'll just change the group, the color of the cow as soon as she has calves. So now I know I don't have to watch those ones. For example, like right now, all my cows that didn't calve yet are purple. And as soon as they calve, I turn them to blue and I can manage them that way. Next slide. Oh, that. So, okay, you can go to you can see in that picture, that's what I was doing there. So, and you can see there, you can see that behavior right there. I can look at their track and I can see what they're doing and if they're in distress or something like that. So that's been a nice feature. I've found one time that it actually was in distress. I had a small bull put his back foot up through the collar, and so it is supposed to break, but it didn't break. So, but at least it let me know that animal was down. And so it turned out to be a non-issue. So that's good. A lot of the other times I'll get an alert that it's down and it's just that it fell off. And so a lot of times how they've fallen off is I either put them on too loose, or I think they get to scratching and pull it off. I haven't found one collar broken yet. So you can go to the next slide. Breeding, this is something that we're still currently working with, trying to keep them close with the cows while I'm breeding them so that maybe I can get a smaller calving window. And it does seem to be working. So, but the other nice thing is I can keep this 25 cows with this bull and this 25 cows with another bull in the same pasture and know which bull is breeding which cow. So that is nice too. So you can go to the next one. When we do round up our cows, it is really nice because you know that you don't have to count. You can just look on your phone and you can see that you've got them all. Last year when we were gathering, we had them all down and we waited until all the collars update, and I look and I said, nope, I still got 8 of them up in this one spot, and we were able to go right to them and bring them down. So that is really nice. One of the things I tell a lot of people that ask me about it, I said, I make a lot of calls, but I don't receive a lot of calls. And what I mean by that is I make a lot of calls to other ranchers. Hey, you've got some cows in my group or something like that, but I don't get any calls from that. People don't call me and say my cows are out, and that's a really nice thing. I had a buddy said, hey, I think you got some cows down on the highway, and I said, nope, I can see exactly where every one of my cows is right now. They're not mine. So that's kind of a nice thing, and it's a huge time saver. A lot of the ranchers around me, when they round up, they have to come back week after week and keep getting a couple more, and time is money, so you can do the next slide. Some lessons that we learn, and we've learned even more since then. We like to turn them off when we are doing a roundup and bringing them back. It just avoids problems. We've had it to where you've got them in a big group pushing them down, and if one collar for some reason gets too close to the fence, it beeps. They all stop. We tried to build a corridor at one time, say, hey, let's just push them down this. And if they, we've got a couple that try to break out or something, it'll stop them. And for us, that just didn't work. So we decided we just turn them off when we're doing it. I already spoke to the training and the wean calves. the return to paddock feature, we don't really use much because we do still have some cross fencing. So anyway, I can speak to that when the question and answer, but it didn't really work for us too much because what it does is if they keep walking away from the paddock or the pasture, it'll give them a shock or an audio and tell them to turn around. Well, sometimes they actually have to go away from it to get back through the hole in the fence that they found. So we found that did work. So for us, so go ahead and go to the next one. But there was one more thing since then, like last year, we had a really bad problem with some pink eye about a month into when I got them out on the pasture, and they're plenty far away from getting them back into a corral or squeeze chutes and that kind of stuff. And the coolest thing that we were able to find is that I was able to go out and treat them out on the range, and then I was able to quarantine the ones that had pink eye away from the rest of the herd until they cleared up. And that to me was it was such a cool thing for that. So, and then we had a fire a couple years ago that was getting close to where my cows were, and we were like 5 miles away on a trip, and with my phone and my computer being 5 hours away, I was able to start moving them down the mountain before we even got back to the ranch to get them down away from the path of the fire heading that way. Over the course of about 12 hours, I was able to get them moved down. And by the time we got back, I had them all standing right at the gate and was able to just open it up and walk them right back across the street to my place. So that was really a cool thing. So that's all I got.